Ladies and gentlemen, welcome, welcome, welcome. Sorry I was a little late doing this. I was in a hockey tournament all weekend, and yeah, so I thought it was supposed to be up at 11 o'clock today. I was ready to go. The games worked out perfectly, absolutely perfectly, and then Canada, it got pushed. It is what it is. I lost in the finals in overtime, so a lot of pain, but we're here to talk about it, man. We're here to talk about the Canadian national team. The roster was released. A lot of you guys have had some time to really digest it. I can see right here already on the screen in the comments. You see Chris Talks is in there. And I think is he in the chat already? I'm pretty sure he is, but actually, yes, he is. I can see him already. But hopefully you guys are doing well. I missed you guys. There's a big window coming up, and hopefully we're just going to have some fun, man. Just me digesting. We were the Busch Light Boys, in case anyone was wondering what the team name was. It's an excellent name. Just, overtime silver medalist. It's painful, I know. But there's a lot to talk about, so let's get into it. First comment of the day goes to Chris. He says, I come in peace. I will not mention you-know-who. Now, guys. Kone, Chris, you've been going back and forth on Twitter for a while, man. But Kone coming into this roster, in my eyes, is nothing but a positive. Nothing but a positive. I know Chris's side is he's played 5 games. There's other players out there. Mitrovic is one that I would really, really like to see get capped. But this is something that I like to see John Herdman looking to do, is cap time these players when he can. This is an opportunity coming up for a big, big window. And he took the opportunity to get a kid in here who is thriving and get him, what better opportunity is to suck a player in than bringing him into a roster that is going in for 1 point away from qualifying for the World Cup. If you want to indulge him in the Canadian spirit, that is absolutely the way to do. I'm happy with it, but I know Chris's point of view. But let me know what you guys thought on the roster. Let me know if there's any names that you guys would have liked to see on, if there was some names that you wouldn't like to see there. And let me know your overall thoughts. It wasn't a surprise. Every single player on this list was in the last camp, besides St. Clair, who came in, which third keeper, is what it is. But I'm excited to see. St. Clair's been absolutely on fire. Back-to-back clean sheets, huge performances. I'd love to see him get integrated a little bit more, and that's exactly what's happening. And, of course, Kone's in, which is, again, I say that's a big W. Let me know, guys, in the chat, if you think it's a win. Just put win, L or W, that Kone is in the roster, because I don't think it's anything but a W. It really is. The kid is playing absolutely fantastic right now, and it's an opportunity to bring him in. And it's something that just, because the Ivory Coast isn't legitimately an option. It really is. It's legitimately an option. They're a strong country as well. If they came and circled down, why not? It's Canada beat them to the punch. And that's pretty much the only way are going to look at it. But guys, let's go through the list. I've already seen it. I've seen it, obviously. When it dropped, I was sitting in the change room getting ready. But yeah, there are no big surprises. Atakubi's in there, Borjan's in there, Buchanan's in there, Lucas Cavallina, who's been playing very well for the Whitecaps. So very interesting to see because he's been one of Herdman's guys. If his performances so far in the MLS, which are pretty much, in my opinion, better than the entirety of his last campaign, maybe he's got something in there that can push for a potential start in one of the upcoming windows. Derek Cornelius, who I think has been on excellent form as well. I'd like to see him get a potential start. Crepeau's in there, David's in there, Eustachio. Liam Fraser, he's got called in when he wasn't playing, so clearly getting the move to Belgium and getting those minutes in, he was going to be back as well. Gutierrez, Henry, Hoylett, Hutchinson, Johnston, Kay, Kennedy. The injury reports from what I saw were good. That was a bit of a worry. Kone, the big name of this one, obviously. Laren, Larea, who hasn't played a lot, as we know. Miller's in there, other Miller. Osorio, St. Clair coming in for the third keeper spot. Ugbo and Victoria, guys. So business as usual right there. And we'll get some of your guys' opinions as well. We're going to go back to the chat. Got a couple people saying, hey, hope the tournament went well. Lost in the finals in overtime. There's no worse way to lose. Come on. But if you guys are just joining us today, be sure to drop a like on the stream. It's always appreciated. Get your guys' thoughts and opinions in. And let me know how excited you guys are for the upcoming window, which is just days away. It's going to be fun. Bet you're right pissed about Kone. Yeah, a lot of people saw Chris. I think it's nothing but a W. We got a couple people in the chat saying Kone's a win. Kone's going to be nasty from Brandon. Bunch of W's coming in. I agree. Kone's very talented. I am excited to see him develop. Kone has major upside in his development as a midfielder and offers unique qualities as an 8. He is. It's just the big thing for me of getting a player like Kone, and there's a couple different options. Mitrovic, in my opinion, is a very similar one who could have potentially been in the squad that wasn't. It's an up-and-coming, exciting young talent. Why not bring him in, show him what this brotherhood is all about? There's, like we said, the majority of this list is the exact same list that was on the last camp. So they're just squeezing another guy in there and giving him a taste of what's to come. And like I said, his stock's getting a lot of attention. This is the time to do it. I like the decision from Herdman. I'm hopeful to see him feature as well. And obviously a solid up-and-coming window. But let me know, guys, because I haven't talked too much about it. Let me know what our points expectation is from you guys as well. Give me a number. Give me a number, and we'll talk to it, man. We'll talk to it. Hopefully Ugbo gets a start this window. I'd like to see EK potentially get a start. Got an interesting video potentially coming out. I got some big news that's coming to the channel. So I recommend you guys keeping an eye on JJD TV tomorrow. There's going to be a basic update type of video. I got some really, really big news that I'm hopefully pretty excited about. Hopefully you guys are excited about it as well. We've come a long way. A lot of you guys, let me know if you were with me since the very first watch along against Bermuda. I believe that was it. The very first World Cup qualifying watch along we did for Bermuda. Let me know if you guys were with me for this entire journey. We've gotten some just crazy news, and it'll be in the video tomorrow. It'll be a video from the heart, and I'm really excited to get into it. Go Canada. Got a couple people coming in. But yeah, going back to Ike Ugbo, I'd like to see him get a start as well. He's playing well in Troyes right now. He's helping them avoid a relegation battle, which is quite the achievement. Because the interesting thing for me was that Ike had a fantastic season last season in Belgium, got the move to get a bigger Belgium side. He had his opportunities. It's not like he got snubbed a lot, but he did have his opportunities, in my opinion, and he just wasn't quite able to lift up to them, which was a little bit frustrating because you know that there's a player in there. And then he kind of got a move, in my opinion, that was sort of out of the ordinary. I didn't think he was going to get that type of move, just given his performances, but getting a move to a Ligue 1 side, playing immediately, getting these amount of minutes in, he's already scored 2 goals. I think it's really encouraging for him as well. I hope he gets the move to be permanent as long as Troyes can avoid relegation. And I think that he, again, similar to Cavallini, would get the attention of Herdman because both of them have been strong. Lucas Cavallini is a player that I'm very critical of because I just think he does, I don't know, because he usually performs for Canada, but watching him play for the Whitecaps and watching Brian White completely wipe him out, I didn't know how he was going to recover from this season. So a lot of encouraging, kind of speaks to his character, in my opinion, seeing what he's done this season, because he has been very good, and it's really good to see. So I wouldn't be surprised between Ugbo and Cavallini for getting a cheeky little start in one of the 3 games that we have coming up. I'm leaning a little bit more towards Cavallini simply just because I think Herdman trusts him just a little bit more, guys. But we got a lot of you guys rolling in 10 minutes into our stream, getting fired up for the upcoming window here on this Sunday night. So be sure to drop a like. And anything you guys want to talk about Canadian men's national team related to this roster in our upcoming window, be sure to put it in the chat. I asked you guys the question as well. What was your guys' point? I don't even know how I worded it. Expectations, or what do you want to see for this upcoming window? We got some positive responses coming in. We got 9. Love it. Going another 3. It'd be cool. I want to say undefeated. 2 wins and a draw. A draw. Yeah, 2 wins and a draw. 1 win, 2 draws. I'd be happy with. I want to keep that 0 for the lost column. Got a 4-point window, 7-point, 9-point. Do you think Canada will get a 7-point window? I think they have a decent opportunity. Again, not that John Herdman's got these guys playing with the mentality that every single time they step foot on that pitch, they're going to win. It's the brotherhood. It's what this team can do. What's make them so special. However, I do think it's a little bit different that some of these countries that we're going to play are fighting, well, Panama and Costa Rica are fighting for their lives to get in the World Cup. Now, the first match, you never know where it's going to fall. We need 1 single point to put us over the line. So, I mean, 7 points is an absolutely attainable window. Again, I obviously undershoot them because a lot of times I say 5-point window because that's been our thing. I'm expecting and I'm hoping for a 5 to 7-point window. 3, Panama and Costa Rica are desperate. They are. That's a really good point, and that's something that I think us fighting for the very unique opportunity of going undefeated is something to be very proud about. But again, I'm not sure if we get qualified, especially for like that Panama game, that Jamaica game. I'm curious to see what Herdman can do with the mentality. Is he going to switch some things up? He's going to give Kone a start, Cavallini. He still wants to top the group. He still wants to go for the fever. There's a lot of I mean, like I said, it's Herdman. He's going to make this team play every single way he can. He wants to win. So we're going to have to wait and see what happens. Thought Brim might be included. He's been in great form. Kyle, that's a good shout as well. I've been on the Canadian men's national team abroad episodes. He's been one of my favorite players to talk about because him and that Eindhoven side have been on absolute fire. He's taken them pretty much from just outside or right around that 8th position, which is a promotion potential position, to bring them up to 4th in the table. He's scoring. He's playing well. He would have been a decent one, but then you have to look at the list, and if he was going to be included, who would you leave out? Because I mean, again, it's Cavallini's not going to be left out. I wouldn't leave out Ugbo. There's no one else on that list unless you wanted to bring an extra body, which there's always the potential. He wouldn't have been a bad option as well, and he's been in the national team before, so it's not unrealistic. Kone as well was the nice one, but on your show, he's a gentleman and always support. I'm absolutely open for having him on. There's a few people we have lined up. Have an interview coming out this week with Stefan Mitrovic, so he'll be on the channel as well. So I'll see if I can poke some knowledge of where his Canadian men's national team or Serbian men's national team future may lie. So I'm excited to have him on. We're recording sometime next week. He's obviously in camp right now, so that'll be a cool little interview. We have Kone. We don't need Flores now. Anyone going to the upcoming game? Let me know in the comments, guys. Any of you guys going to the game against Jamaica? Because, I mean, if you are, lucky. I am not, unfortunately. Undefeated or USA finished 5th? Which one do you want? All right, we'll ask you guys that question. If it was up to you, the rude Canadians are coming out. If it was up to you and you can make the decision, would you accept a loss as a Canadian men's national team as long as it means that the US finished 5th? Or would you go undefeated to know that the U.S. qualify? I think I'd rather go undefeated. I think I want the U.S. in the World Cup. I do. I think it's better for Concacaf if they're there. They already had their heartbreak the last time out. We've already taken more points from them. So, I mean, we've done business as usual. I think going undefeated in this is something special. I really do. And I would love to see Canada pull it off. That's why I said, I mean, whether it's 5 points, whether it's 3 draws, I don't really care. It's enough to get us qualified. I do want to finish 5th. That is obviously important, but I think just not losing a match in this World Cup qualifying, this grueling octagonal is such an accomplishment for all these guys that hold their heads held high. And that's something where I'm really looking for. But like I said, I'd put my money between that 5 to 7 point window. Bought 3 tickets for the home game against Jamaica and resold them within 15 hours and doubled my money. Just shows the hype around soccer right now. We got a businessman in the chat. Says, no. I snuck in there first. I got the tickets. We shipped them off, and we doubled our money. I mean, I don't judge. I don't judge. That's gonna double your money like that. Not a bad idea whatsoever. But for anyone who's going to the match, it's gonna be something special. Hopefully, you guys enjoy it as well. As someone who's half Ivorian, Ivory Coast, that has been watching Kone, wanted him to represent. Well, I mean. You're half and half, so you get it both. It was a win-win for you both ways. But yeah, I mean, like I said, I like the opportunity for Herb. I know this is such a tight-knit group, and it's hard to get players into this team. Like I said, like guys like Cavallini, Liam Fraser. There's some guys that are just so hard to remove from this team because everything around this Canadian national team makes them a brotherhood, whether it's on the pitch or behind the scenes. It's why certain guys right there. There's a really good interview with KJ and Daniel Henry, which really spoke to that, in my opinion. And yeah, I think it's tough to bring people in here. So I thought it was a really bold move that Kone was able to sneak in here. And I'm really excited to see him get going. I'm so happy I'm going with what an atmosphere it will be. I'm jealous, my friend. I am jealous. It'll be fun. Rob said he's going to be there. Brandon says he's going to be there as well. Back to the other question. USA 5th. Easy money. All right. That's good, guys. If you're tuning in as well, be sure to drop a like as always and a sub. Let me know if you guys are satisfied with the upcoming window. The Ray are going to start despite the lack of playing time for Forrest. My assumption would be yes. I think Richie Larea will start 1, potentially 2. Actually, I'd put my money more on 2. I think regardless, Richie Larea is going to start. I think he's one of Herdman's guys. I think he's proved in the Canadian national team that he can do this. And the other key point with Richie Larea is the fact that, I mean, he's technically sort of done this kind of thing before. Playing in the MLS, a lot of the MLS players have gone without playing. So, I mean, the fact that he is going over to Forest, It's no different than maybe he would have been at the MLS in the other window. So I wouldn't expect anything else. I think Larea is going to have a very similar window to like he usually does. I'm curious to maybe keep an eye on how sharp he's going to be. I personally believe that if you're not playing like he was, I think it might affect him a little bit. That's just my personal opinion, but a lot of players can prove me wrong. But I think Larea will start in Herman's eyes just as if he was playing every single match for Forest. Haven't missed a game all year. This is going undefeated. That's cool, man. That's cool. I'm from Montreal. I'm going. Good buddy Adrian from Rabona TV has come in as well. Adrian, how you doing, my man? I lost in a hockey final today. It was heartbreaking in overtime, so a little painful. But glad Herman listened to me at the end of the podcast the other day, and I told him to cap Kone. What a relief. It is. Like I said, this is not an easy team whatsoever to break through, let alone a kid who's just coming into his own, playing what I believe is now 5 professional matches. So it really speaks to who this kid is, what he's could potentially become. And I like that move. I really do. I like the opportunity of cap-tying these kids right away. If it was up to me, I would have snuck Jebson in here. I know a lot of you guys would as well. Mitrovic as well. There's a lot of talented Canadians out there who are being targeted. Now, that doesn't mean that Jebson hasn't been asked and has said no, because I personally think he's not quite ready to commit. But if Kone is ready to commit, and you can see what this kid has done in the very limited time that we've seen him play professional football, soccer, wherever you guys are watching from, whatever you want to call it, cap time. And that's exactly what we did. And I'm excited for it. I really am. When does the Concacaf Nations League start this year? I believe it's June or July. Correct me if I'm wrong, guys. I believe the group stage is in one of the months of June or July. And then the finals is in March of next year. Why aren't you going? Get a press pass. I have, unfortunately, some plans during the day that would have made it difficult for me, but I will be doing previews. We have our CONCACAF Council crew. I got 3 of the boys coming on. Eddie, who is Costa Rican, he's coming on the channel for a preview. We got JD returning for the Jamaican talk. It's not much for him to... I just like having JD on. So it'll be good talking with him, even though Jamaica doesn't have anything to play for. And Rahelio was coming on as well, talking about Panama, which will be a very interesting preview depending on how the results go. So a couple of really good previews coming up. Of course, the watch-alongs are back and the 5 takeaways. And remember, guys, tomorrow, huge announcement on the channel. Really excited for it. So keep an eye on that. Logan says agreed. Why? Yeah. And I have to do something on the day of the Jamaica game, unfortunately. So I'll be busy for most of the day, but we'll be back in time to start up the watch-along. Do you think Eustachio starting in the Europa League versus Lyon is a good sign going forward? Didn't play this weekend, though. I don't know if it's a good sign. I feel like Porto are prioritizing the league a little bit more than the Europa League. I think that they were debating because they gave Steph the 31 minutes before yanking him off after that. That game really frustrated anyone from a fan. I just don't think it's a smart decision from a manager. I think if you're going to do that to a player, yank him off at halftime. I mean, really, it just, I don't know. It just baffled me that there was a red card early on for the other team. If it was for Porto, even though the midfield position doesn't quite make sense, but you don't usually see that. The opposition got a red card. They yanked Eustachio off in the 31st minute. Little bit humiliating in my opinion. I just think it's tough for a player to do, but Steph's a good guy. He's going to find a way to bounce back. He was given a start. He played well against Lyon for Porto, but I do think that Porto is prioritizing the league a little bit more. Sporting's right down their neck. So I don't know. It's a good start. I mean, he started. He played in Europe. There's nothing wrong with doing that. He only played 57 minutes, which is, again, I would like to see a little bit more, but it's a decent start. It's a decent start. Kyle says, hey, Josh, did you see Marcelo Flores' sister was in the U20 CONCACAF World Cup qualifying tournament? She's brilliant for Mexico, only 17. I did not see that. Appreciate you calling that out. I don't think that's very encouraging news that she's representing Mexico. I still think a lot of you guys ask me about Flores, and unfortunately, my answer is usually pretty much the same. I just feel like he's closer to Mexico than he is Canada, but we'll have to wait and see what happens. He's another dual nat that you got to cap. Like I said, there's a lot of talented kids out there, and any chance you can get one of these guys in here because you don't know what they're going to develop into, it's smart, and I like when they're getting it done like that. Hey, can you get another 9 points to help the U.S.? I think 9. I mean, we've done only nation to do a 9-point window. I think it's a little tricky. But again, I said if I was putting money on it, I think that it'll be another decent window through. Because again, we've seen Mr. Consistency throughout these qualifiers. But I would say, I mean, that Panama match is going to be something else, especially with Panama's fighting for their lives the way that they are. So that's why I said the 5 to 7 windows. But I mean, anything's possible. We showed that last window without Alphonso Davies picking up 9 points. The Canadian national team can pull off pretty much anything. What did you think of TFC performance? Day 1 second, row 105, row 6, 9, and 10. It's a mouthful. Sorry, Rob. What did I think about TFC performance? The biggest takeaway I had, I mean, the fact that they got, I'm assuming the one that you're talking about is the one that they just picked up their first 3 points of the season. And it's the fact that the CPL boys are having a good opportunity. It's a really cool thing for the Canadian Premier League. It's a really good thing for the league, seeing these players make the step to MLS. And then not only that, to start and perform. Waterman's a good example. McNaughton, who anyone who watched the CPL knew he could probably make this step and do it quite well. Chung was another interesting one. I wasn't quite as reassured that he would be as similar of a transition to McNaughton. I just felt like McNaughton was ready for that step, not that Chung wasn't. But Chung was really impressive as well. So I mean, it's super cool it was super cool for the CPL seeing the league continuing to develop, to putting out some really talented players, and then seeing them go on and represent Montreal, Toronto, and hopefully some other ones. Obviously doing it over in Europe as well. Plans with the beers. No, I won't be doing anything beers. It's with my girlfriend and her family. So I have to do that. But it's in the morning. I just couldn't pull off getting to Toronto. I live in a small town. It's a journey to pull it off. It's a journey to pull off. A few new ones on here. Haven't heard of Kone. Scott, he'll be one. If you want to see him, take an eye on Montreal, man. He's a really talented kid to watch. He had an incredible performance, one that got every Canadian a little bit hyped up. Alex put out an unbelievable article. I highly recommend you guys go check it out. I retweeted it on Twitter. If you want to go follow me over on Twitter, it's at TV_JJD. Really good article. It'll definitely get you to know him a little bit more in depthly. Really good work from my man there. What did you think of El Clasico? I thought it was funny. I mean, as you guys know, I'm a Dortmund fan. That's my club team. And watching Aubameyang and Dembele doing what they did was just a throwback. It's absolutely hilarious. They were literally the duo that shouldn't have been able to rekindle, because they're both really good for Dortmund, but they both, I think, have pretty severe attitude problems. But yeah, Xavi's doing incredible work there. That is for sure. Seeing the CCL boys live was awesome. Kane Sean with the assist. Great to see. It is. It's really encouraging stuff. Even though I think you are nice not wearing your Rude Canadian shirt. I wore that Rude Canadian shirt with pride. Took a picture, tossed it up. I wore it with pride. I wore it with pride. Chung was strong. He was. Luca was as well. Josh, if Forge plays Toronto FC in the Canadian Championship someday in the future, who will you cheer for? I mean, they're playing a final. They're playing the final coming up. I might go to that. Again, there's a lot of really cool things we're having going up on the channel, guys. I will explain a lot more on the video I'm gonna be putting out tomorrow. Really excited for a lot of different little things about it. I plan on going to that game. So again, I mean, any way to potentially meet some of you guys out there is cool, but I can't go to the Jamaica-Canada match, but I mean, maybe the Forge Toronto one. I don't know. We'll see. But there's going to be some cool things we're going to do. And as for me, again, I tend to watch the CPL as a neutral. And honestly, same as the MLS. I would probably cheer for Forge because it'd be cool to see a CPL team do something special. But, I mean, I was cheering for Pacific last year in the finals, so I just thought it was better for the league to see them win. I really enjoyed their team. A lot of really good players. McNaughton. I want to see the sport in this country continue to grow. I want to see the players to continue to develop. And I will kind of root for that accordingly. But that's my opinion. So I probably want to see the CPL because I think it'd be a really cool step for them. And they traded the Concacaf Champions League place to Toronto. So I feel like Forge probably deserve a little something out of that. Do you think Ugbo will get major minutes this window? Potential goal. I don't think he's going to get major minutes. Yeah, it's a friendly. That's fine. I don't think he's getting major minutes, but I do think that second match. I still think. I mean, I would love to see Ugbo start over Cavallini. I do. I just think it's an opportunity coming up for him. But for some reason, in the back of my mind, if it's not going to be a David Laren duo or one of them starting in a single striker formation, I just feel like Cavallini is going to get a start. I don't know why. Like I said, I think he's a little bit more on Herdman's mind, and the fact that he's performing pretty well is telling me that. But that's just my opinion. Let me know if you guys think that he's potentially going to start. Isn't Forge located in Hamilton? It is. It is in Hamilton. The final is going to be at Tim Hortons Field. That was the trade-off. Toronto picked up a Concacaf Champions League place, and Forge got to host the game, which, I mean, it's kind of cool, I guess. It was interesting, but yeah, more of a friendly I don't know. I still think it's cool. It's a final. It was the final that was never played. So, I mean, there's something to it, and I'll be treating it like a final. And I'm hoping the teams will as well, because there's some silverware on the line. And like I said, it means more to Forge, in my opinion, than it's going to mean for Toronto. They're going to want to go out and they're going to want to win this competition, which is why I think the game is going to be interesting to go to. But John, you make a good point. But yeah, as for Ugbo, not major minutes, maybe bit part roles in 2 of the matches, and potentially a start unless he's been bumped down the pecking order a little bit by Cavallini. Do you know Max for York? Don't watch CPL, but played against him 2 years ago, and he was filthy. Yeah, I didn't. That's pretty cool that you played against him. Yeah, talented kid, that's for sure. York, in my opinion, York's gonna have a solid season this year. I really think they put some of the pieces that needed to be done on this team, and I think they're gonna have a decent little run this season. The CPL is gonna be a little wide open, and I'm really excited to see when it kicks off, April 7th. And York's in the first season match, and it's gonna be a good one. Has St. Clair passed Crépeau? No, he hasn't. I'm a big fan of St. Clair, and when I first started my very first Canada stream, I talked about St. Clair a little bit higher than I did Crépeau, which, in my opinion, looking back on it, I was wrong. I was wrong. I really liked the way St. Clair was. I truthfully did. I thought there would be a good opportunity for him to push on, but Borjan turned into a rock, and Crépeau did as well. So, in my opinion, St. Clair is the third keeper in this pool. But like a lot of you guys say, the third keeper should be the one who has the biggest impact on the dressing room. And I do kind of believe with that. But I also like to think the 3 best keepers should be the 3 keepers. They earned the spot. I think St. Clair is our 3rd best keeper. I think Max Crépeau is an incredible keeper. I think the fact that he moved over to LAFC, I think he's going to have a really strong season once again. But Borjan, it's his position. I don't think there's a debate around that. I think there's a clear 1, 2, and 3. I think this is really promising from St. Clair that he is starting for Minnesota, that he is picking up monster performances, and I'm hoping he keeps up and he just completely, which I think he's sort of shifting the balance, locks down that starting spot, because in my opinion, I think he's better than Miller. Anyways, I know Davies won't be at the game. I know Davies won't be playing, but any chance we will see him on the bench? No. So Davies is not in the roster, obviously, and he will not be coming. And that is, I had a debate about it with Adam, and he said that he thought Davies would be included simply because this is a really important moment. He's the face of Canadian soccer. He wants to be there with the boys when they celebrate. And I agreed that that's a chance, but I also thought on the flip side of things that there's no way whatsoever that, unfortunately, Bayern were going to release him. And I completely agree with that. I think the number one thing David needs to worry about is getting 100% fit. It doesn't make sense to release him to go and watch the match. There's obviously a lot of things that could happen. I mean, it was related to COVID. I mean, COVID didn't disappear. He could put him at risk to potentially get it again. I think the smartest thing to do is to hopefully just relax, get healthy, get fit, get back playing right away. And there's more business to do than just finishing up a World Cup qualifying campaign that you've basically already finished. Thoughts on Raheem Edwards? Excellent shout, Kyle. Deserved a spot over Gutierrez. Herdman showing loyalty. Yeah. Either way, one of them probably wouldn't play that match. I would have brought in Edwards. But again, this is the cool thing about John Herdman. And whether you agree or disagree, this brotherhood is a thing. It is. And these players have been here along the way. Gutierrez is the left back I think of when Davies isn't there. Well, I guess Davies is a little bit further up the pitch, but when Atakubi, Davies, Lorea sometimes shifts over to the left. But if there's another left back on the roster, I think of Gutierrez. I think he's just been there. He's done that. It's a little bit similar to Liam Fraser being involved with this setup. But in my opinion, I would have liked to see Edwards get in there. Chouanier as well, even though he's been playing a little bit on the right, but I know he can play on both flanks. Edwards is he brings something different. And I just think, again, it speaks to how hard and how difficult it's going to be to get into this tight-knit group of players. And Gutierrez is one of Herman's guys. And, I don't know. But if you're asking me currently on form, and if that's the decision you're going to make it on, Edwards is in this squad. But it's not. There's a lot more to it. And who are we to question Herman when he's done the job he did? There's clearly something that he's doing behind the scenes that Greg is not doing. And that might be a little bit of it. But yeah, I think there's a lot of Canadians that are really thriving this year, specifically in MLS. Marc-Anthony Kaye, I thought him and the Rapids were going to have a disastrous campaign. In that first match of the season in their Concacaf Champions League, atrocious effort was, I'm like, oh, this is going to be terrible. And then they've had just a couple massive performances, and Marc-Anthony Kaye has been very, very good. I believe he scored 2 goals, and in those same 2 matches, he scored 2 goals. He picked up 2 man of the matches. So Kaye is absolutely going to be a player coming in on great form as well. Crépeau still ahead of St. Clair. Yeah, I agree. In John, we trust. In John, I trust. Yeah. Same question for Kone. Does Kone see major minutes, or does he see a short 5-minute stint to cap time? I don't think he's going to see major minutes. I think Kone's window will be similar to Ugbo's first window, but saying that, it is different circumstances. So we'll have to see. It depends. There's a lot of players that could potentially miss out. There's a lot of players who have yellow cards or could potentially have yellow cards towards the end of this window. So there is an opportunity. There's an opportunity there, but again, I don't think he would start more than 1 match. But hopefully we'll see a little cameo of maybe 30 minutes or so at least. We'll have to wait and see. Herman, I always try to theorize around this, but Herman's a tricky guy to lock down, man. He really is. I think teams will play super dirty against Canada since they likely won't qualify. Well, Costa Rica's got a good opportunity to qualify, as is Panama. Those two will be fighting for their lives. Jamaica's got nothing to play for. So that'll be an interesting one, and that's the one I expect the most rotation, especially if we pull off qualifying against Costa Rica. I think the Jamaica match could see like I said, Cavallini or Ugbo starting. Maybe, and we saw it a little bit on Twitter, and I would love to see a back 3 with Alistair Johnson on the right, Kamal Miller, or Kenny, depending on the health, as central center back, and then either Miller or Cornelius on the left. I think having these left-footed center backs that are all very capable, it's time to start utilizing them so you can fit 2 of them in a back 3. But again, more than likely, we'll see probably Henry in there, as if he's not suspended. Kone could sub on for Zori or a K. He could. No one near touching Crépeau or Borjan as number 1 and 2. No, I agree with Chris. I think there's a clear 1, 2, and I shouldn't say 3. There's a clear 1 and 2. It's Borjan, it's Crépeau. It's as easy as that. The third spot's up for debate, depending on how you want to look at it. I personally like to bring the keeper who I think's most deserving, and I personally would say it's St. Clair, followed by Breza. No Patton. Yeah, Harry Patton was one, and Theo Corbiano are 2 names that are interesting because they've been in this side. They've had their sneak peeks coming in. Corbiano is an interesting one. It looked like it was going to be the dream move when he moved over to MK Dons. He got a couple goals, assists. He was starting. He was playing well. He was looking dangerous. He kind of fell by the wayside a little bit. He hasn't been getting the same amount of minutes and having the same amount of impact that he has. And I believe over the weekend, once again, he didn't even see a single minute. You guys can correct me if I'm wrong. So the Corbiano one kind of, in my opinion, it's kind of par for the course. I don't know if he's done enough since the last window to really gain a spot. And then it begs the question, who would come out? It's an interesting one. And Harry Patton is one that I think deserves the spot. But again, he's cap tied, and Harry Patton, who I think is having a very good season, he took that Ross County side, which was at one point dead last in the Scottish Premier League. And I believe they're sitting in 6th now in the top half of the table, which is really impressive. But again, he's had his issues. He was a huge part of it towards the beginning, and he's had his couple injuries. He hasn't quite settled back. He hasn't been putting the same type of minutes he's been putting together. And you have the opportunity to cap Kone. So that one is probably the reasoning behind that, in my opinion. And I'm really excited to see what can rub off on Kone and seeing if he will get some minutes and what he will look like, because he's definitely a special player, that's for sure. Liam Fraser has always played well in a Canadian jersey. Liam Fraser is better for Canada compared to his club. That I agree with that. And certain players are. For the longest time, Cavallini fell exactly into that category. Cavallini has never thrived, in my opinion, for the Whitecaps. He's doing, like I said, this season, the very short little bit we've seen of it, he's done way, way better. Way better for the Whitecaps. But aside from that, I mean, you could argue, what is he doing in the Canadian men's national team? Because his performances should not be deserving of a spot in the Canadian men's national team. But he's a specific type of striker that has specific attributes that John Herdman loves. And he has his uses. You've seen it late in matches when he comes on. And he puts up performances. Playing for Canada, he's got a ton of goals. He's got a really good goal scoring record. It's starting to die out a little bit because he's not starting anymore and getting those types of minutes that he used to for the national team. But I do agree that Cavallini still has a role in this side. That's for sure. Kone picked over Patton. Yeah, and I mean, I think it's the right decision. You have the opportunity to cap time, you cap time. That is as simple as it is. I don't think Harry Patton will give you anything more than Kone would. I really don't. And now you potentially cap tie a very promising young player. To me, it's a no-brainer. Really excited to see what he can do. Hey man, if Kone scores, I hope I don't see Chris Talks on my timeline. Chris, he's a TFC fan. Kone will win him over eventually. Just want to say you were doing great video on the Canadian national team at Marcy. I appreciate that, my friend. You guys, a lot of you guys have been with me a while. Chris has been with me for a while. I'm not sure exactly when, obviously, he joined, but we started covering Canada in their first match against Bermuda. Very first times. We've been here on the journey, and it's pretty cool to see. And like I said, big news coming on the channel tomorrow. Keep an eye for that announcement video. We'll let you guys informed of what I've been up to and the big things that are coming. At this point, Cavallini is only in for loyalty reasons, and he's likely big in a locker room. Yeah, I agree with that. But like I said, it's good to see them getting a little bit better form. It simply is. I mean, he was getting called up when he was on just no form. There's just no form really to go on because he was not deserving of a spot, in my opinion, for a while, just given on his Caps performances. But he's turned that around, which is good to see. Okay, thanks. I thought Patton would have been in. Hopefully he's playing in European games next season. I thought Kone was still only eligible for Ivory Coast. Yeah, I mean, I don't know 100% know what the real cap tying rules are. Because like I said, like everyone asked me about Tomori. Let me just be frank. Tomori will never play for the Canadian national team. However, I don't know exactly how the rules work depending on Tomori's age and the amount of competitive matches he's represented for England. Say he didn't do enough, and then he waited 3 years after the last competitive match, which would have been, or last competitive match, I think, or last match, one of the two. Again, it's so gray. He wouldn't be eligible to represent Canada until October 9th, 2024. And that's if. There's a lot of ifs in there. So that's why, I mean, the ship has sailed. But yeah, I mean, Kone is getting cap tied here. I mean, his commitment is going to be with Canada. It'd be very strange for him just to, I mean, he would have to wait 3 years. So let's just say Kone, for example, and this is where the gray area comes in. If Kone plays one cap for Canada this window and then Canada never call him again and he waits his 3 years, maybe he can do his one-time switch. And that's the kind of like up in the air. I'm not 100% sure. But no, Kone is going to be cap tied hopefully this window, and he is going to help, again, hopefully have a solid national career with the Canadian national team. What about the left back at LA Galaxy? My boy Edwards, yeah. Again, I think he's deserving of a call-up. I really do. I've watched pretty much every match this season. I think I know I watched 2 of the 3. How many games have LA played so far? I think off the top of my head. I went out of my way and I watched his 2 man of the match performances as well. I didn't watch the game yesterday. I didn't watch the Orlando City 1-0 game. But yeah, I think Edwards is definitely deserving of a spot. But like I said, it's difficult to break in. He's got to break through Gutierrez, who's having quite. He's been with this national team for a little bit now, so it's going to be difficult. Would have like Brim here, especially that he's in form. He is in form. But again, it's just difficult depending on who you want to take out. Because I don't think I would take anybody out to put Brim in. But maybe if Herdman wanted to carry an extra player, that would have been a potential. If Canada beats or draws Costa Rica, they will qualify. Yep. They need 1 point this window, and they finish top 3. Josh, you're amazing. I appreciate that. Josh, what are your predictions for the 3 games? All right. Be sure to drop a like, guys, if you guys just tuned in. We're going to wrap this thing up shortly. I will give you guys my predictions. I think we're going to draw against Costa Rica. I think we're going to win against Jamaica. And I think we're going to draw against Panama. 5-point window first, and we'll finish first. But I like to say that because I usually say 5-point windows, and then Canada just say, Josh, you don't know what you're talking about, and then they up it. So, like I said, 5 to 7 is what I'm thinking. Yeah, we're 1 point away from qualifying. As a follower of the English team, I don't see how Tomori isn't being picked over Maguire. Yeah, and Tomori should be good and called up for the England team, which, anyways. I've been here since round 1 of qualifying. Drop a like, people. Yeah, Chris has been with me for a while. I appreciate all the support, guys. You guys have really been awesome. It's been incredible. And on the video I'm dropping tomorrow, I'll explain a little bit if you guys aren't familiar with like my background in terms of just kind of growing up where I did in Canada and not being able to have these type of discussions and seeing the very cool thing we've built here on JJD TV. And I really appreciate everyone who's tuned in and has enjoyed the content and is enjoying the growth of Canadian soccer because it's here. And we are 1 point away for this upcoming window for qualifying to the World Cup, which is just going to be insane. So hopefully we'll see you guys in the video tomorrow and you guys can hear the big announcement, which will be a lot of fun. Richie will get 25 minutes and later a full game. I think Richie will start 2 games. That was my guess. But that's my guess. I'm going to say 2. 1 point, 3 points, 1 point, 5 points. It's what I'm saying. There's a Norwegian defender playing good in Europe who's eligible for Canada would be a good option. Well, Tom Holmes is one playing in Reading. He's not the guy you're talking about. That's Solom, who's playing for Motherwell in Scotland, if that's the one you're talking about. And I don't think he's actually eligible. There was a lot of debate around it, and I covered him a little bit on the Abroad series, and then I was told that he's not eligible. So from what I understand, he's not. And I don't have a specific answer on Reading center back Tom Holmes. So maybe Junior Hoylett can get in there and get us some information in that. But yeah, Bermuda feels like ages ago. U.S., Virgin Islands, and the Nations League is where this era really started, though. That is true. I wasn't covering it, though, at the time. I was watching it by myself, and now I'm watching it with all of you guys, and it's a lot more fun, let me tell you, than me sitting by myself watching the games. When is the Nations League draw? It's already happened. Right, guys? It happened, right? Yes, it's him from Motherwell. Okay, maybe he wouldn't have been good enough. No, he would have been. I think he would have been a great pickup. Really good depth option for the center back position, but he's not eligible from what I understand. Throwback to the Cayman Islands thrashing, the Cavallini hat trick. 9 points, so we can rub it in Tactical's face. Hashtag Rude Canadians. You hear that, Filippo? I don't know if he's on here. But all right, guys, we're going to wrap that up for today. So we'll give you guys a quick, because this is a big, busy week on the channel. We'll give you guys an update on what's happening. Tomorrow, there will be the announcement video. It's a cool video. It's basically just me talking to the camera, telling you guys about the big announcement. So, it's very simple. We then have, we have the 3 of the Concacaf Council members coming on for 3 separate previews. We'll be doing our watch-alongs. We'll be doing the 5 takeaways. And then probably some type of review. It all depends because the big news will be pretty cool. Nation League's draw hasn't happened yet. It's in April after the World Cup draw. Okay, wasn't sure. Maybe I was maybe I'm thinking of the Concacaf U20 one, and I was like, yeah, it didn't make any sense. But okay, I appreciate that, my man. Josh, are you surprised that Tybert wasn't called up? I joked. It just shows the way this team has progressed over the years. Tybert's a solid player for Vancouver. He gets a lot of hate, but he's a solid player. But yes, he's obviously not in the frame anymore. But all right, guys, So that's the plan for the week. A lot of content coming up. Announcement video, previews, watch-alongs, reviews. Hopefully we'll see you guys on it. It's going to be a big one. Maybe we'll do something special somehow if I can think of something to do if and when Canada qualify. I don't know, getting some other guys on here and just talk about what it was like being a national team fan of this country. I'm not 100% sure, but I appreciate you guys tuning in with me. Drop a like on your guys' way out, and we will see you for some fun and interesting content throughout this week. Appreciate you guys tuning in. We'll talk to you soon. Cheers.